Hi, everybody. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Kimiko Sumi, and today I want to discuss something about religion and when it pertains to Black people in particular. I want to discuss how the church and Christianity, why Black people really, why I feel like Black people really cling to Christianity in the church and how it got started. Basically, Christianity was pretty much given to black African slaves during the transatlantic slave trade when they came to America. Especially in America, they were my ancestors were given Christianity or the Bible and taken away, and their default religion in Africa was taken away from them. Basically, what I feel like, uh, ever since Black people like came together and created a church, and became Christians and left and didn't really have any real knowledge of their um, default religion in Africa, since generations had passed and since generations had passed and black people like had a church, became having church. And the reason why, it's really not even, I don't think it was really based off of religion. I believe that it was the church and they will say this in documentaries too, that the Christian church, the black Christian church during slavery, and in my opinion up until about the 80s or mid 90s, black people, especially from slavery days up into the mid to I say about when black people finally got our civil rights. I believe that the church was. Let me get to the point. I'm trying to get to the point. Now, I do have schizophrenia, so it's hard for me to concentrate, and it's a lot of things going on at once. You know what I'm saying already. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think that black people really were in church from slavery to a certain point, like the civil rights era, because they were Christians or believed in the Bible. I think it was more so a place for us to come together and grieve and have emotional support, kind of like a therapist, but a group therapy. At the church where black people would come together in the congregation and stuff like that. It had less to do with the Bible itself and Christianity and more to do with giving each other hope because there was nothing else to depend on. Can you imagine 23 hours a day? This is what I heard, though. This is what I read and heard, that black people during slavery had to work like 23 hours a day and only got 1 hour of to do whatever they needed to do for that entire day. Now, I don't completely believe that because but then again, you never know. The slave masters and stuff like that, they weren't really compassionate towards the slaves typically, so it probably could be 23 hours a day that they had to work, and then they got that 1 hour break to do whatever, and maybe on Sunday they might have been more lenient. So black people, I believe black people, they were getting whipped and different things like that. Like we were being treated like less than animals, and that's how people, the white people wanted us to be seen anyways, less than an animal, inhumane, what they would do. But black people, like I said, black people weren't really, I don't really think that black people got together in the church mainly because their belief in Jesus or Jesus or the Bible or whatever, or the Christianity. I think black people just needed a place where they could, outlet, basically like a therapist, to come together to get hope and encouragement to keep moving forward. That's the only place they could go to. They didn't have any, we didn't have any real options, and it basically, up until the after the civil rights era, after JFK passed away, and we got our in integration started in the late 60s, early 70s and stuff like that. That's when, before the what is it called, black people got our equal rights. Okay, black people in the before the late 60s, when we were being, hosed down, abused, hung, what is it called, killed, different things like that, like, you know, segregation and stuff like that. I believe that black people, it's still, the church was still something where they could go for refugee, where they could, they could feel comfortable together, they could feel at peace, they can all come together like a family, you know what I'm saying? Even though all black people are family, like Tupac said, we all family. But that's a place where black people were still in the 60s, the late 60s. Black people were just basically coming to the church because not because of religion, but because they we all shared a commonality, abuse and mistreatment, and we had nobody else to depend on but each other. So it didn't really, it might have, yeah, it was about, them believing in the Bible and black people believing in the Bible, but it was mainly about, finding a place, a safe place to go to release our pain and different things like that. But I think, like, because my grandparents, they were Baptists, okay? And actually, both, well, this is what my mother told me, that my grandparents were the deacon and the head deaconess of the church. And actually, my mother and her sister were the ones that introduced our family to the church in Dallas, and it's actually called Macedonia, I believe, Macedonia Baptist Church here in Dallas. But most of my family don't really go there anymore. They did for a long time, years, over like 40, 30, 40, 50 years. They were going to Macedonia. But a lot of black people don't even go to church anymore, by the way. They will talk about the Bible and Christianity and stuff, but they don't really actually go in. They really don't actually believe in the church. And I see why, because most of the time, those church leaders, they seem to want to scam their congregation or the people that attend. And I noticed that a lot of black men say that they don't want to go to church in particular. Now, I have already stated that I am a Buddhist. I am a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism. I was born into this religion. Both of my parents are black, and they are both practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism. They were both practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism before I was even born, before I was even conceived. So I was born into this religion, and this is really the only thing that I know, aside from funerals with my family members and maybe special occasions. That's when we might occasionally go to a church just to celebrate and to support our family members outside of my immediate family who go to church, okay? So I don't really have a relationship with the church or the Bible or anything like that. And all throughout my life, people have tried to, deter me from my Buddhist practice, me in particular, in different ways, like little corny, sneaky, manipulative, and like not a real, like, they they really gave me goofy ways to try to steer me away from Buddhism, and it has never worked. Okay. But I noticed that in the past decade, and especially in the last 1 to 2 years, it seems like people are getting even more aggressive with trying to convert me, especially to Christianity. It seems like they don't want to respect my wishes, that I don't want to be a Christian. I do not want to go to church, and I do not believe in the Bible. I wasn't raised that way. I was born into the practice of Nichiren Daishonin true Buddhism. At birth, shortly after birth, I was touched on the forehead with what we call a Gohanzan that you saw Angela Bassett chant to in the movie What's Love Got to Do with It. She was a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism too. And she was a Soka Gakkai International member like me and my immediate family are, including my father. So I don't know anything about the church really, and I feel it is very offensive for people to know that I'm a Buddhist, especially when they know I'm a Buddhist and they try to convert me. I don't like that, especially the manipulative ways that they do to try to steer me away from my practice. But here's the thing, when you've always known something and it's been that way for over 30 years, almost 40 years of your life, even before you were a thought, it's going to be very hard to deter that person away from things that they already know. Just as a Christian, it would be hard for me to deter y'all or any religion that you were grew up in. It's going to be hard for me to deter you or convert you into my religion. However much I might want it, it's basically the way that it is. So I feel like people should respect my belief system in Nichiren Buddhism. Okay? Now, I'm not the most strict with my practice, but I am a firm believer. I am a very devoted practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism. And like I said, it has really gotten strong since I was about 26, 27 years old. But in the last 2 years in particular, I have gotten really, really, really stern and serious about my faith. And I'm not playing about it. That's why I'm making this video too, because I want to tell people, listen, don't come up to me with trying to, and this is another thing too. I remember one time this guy, he just randomly came up to me with a Bible. It was like desperation. It didn't even make sense. Okay, because I am a targeted individual, so it's weird things happen like that where people won't even know me. I'm not even talking to them or barely spoke to them, but yet they'll bring a Bible up to me and open it up and actually try to read it to me, thinking that I'm going to fall for it, and I'm really not. It looked desperate, and I see a lot of supernatural things that don't even make any sense. So that's how I know it's something very devious probably behind people trying to convert me, especially to Christianity. And like I said, I'll say it again if I have to. I am a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism. I am a practitioner of Nichiren True Buddhism. I am an active Soka Gakkai International member, and that is my only faith. Okay? So with that said, I hope you like this video or have gotten something from this video as far as black people, the history of the church with black people, and with my perspective and how I feel about my faith and how I am strict about it. And if you like this video and if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, comment below, like my video, hit the notification bell if you like to, subscribe, share it, and I will see y'all in another video, my lotus flowers. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and I will too, and I will see y'all in another one. Peace. I'm out. Bye bye.